Welcome back to part 2 of the fan theories for Servant, where we read as many of your comments as possible to see if we can get some theories going. And there's a lot of good theories here that we're going to go over. They're going to be from episodes 7 and 8, so they're a little more recent with all the new things that we're learning every week. Because Jules, like at this point, there's stuff happening every week that we could go on for hours just on these comments. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It's every week. It's just more things just swirling around in my brain. So I'm so thankful we have you guys commenting, because I don't think I'd be able to keep it straight without it.
Yeah, it's great because it gives another perspective, a lot of theories. Like, well, maybe they're on to something, even if they're a little far fetched. Like it's M. Night Shyamalan. There's going to be some kind of twist. It's coming. It's definitely coming. So the crazier theories, the better. We have about 10 to go through. A couple are really long, so that's why we're only doing 10. But before we read them, we're going to read them in just a couple minutes. I would like you guys to please subscribe. Please like the video if you like our content. We have some personal goals to reach, so the more subs, the better. And we really appreciate everyone we've had for this Servant run. It's just been getting better and better every week with more theories, more listeners, and it's a ton of fun. So that's why we were like, all right, we got to do another fan theory video. And then we're going to have one more of these when the season's over. But that one's going to be focused on season 4 predictions. So not the stuff that we've seen before, but start getting your predictions in for next season. And then you'll most likely be in that video. So without further ado, let's jump into it. We have a lot of good comments here. I'm going to start off with Mike Harlow. He's the gentleman who said he likes watching us with his mother, and that's just adorable.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah.
That's great.
So thanks so much. And he has a theory on the shooting of Isabel. Now, there was someone that responded in this comment to maybe be a devil's advocate, like, I don't think that was the case. So I like seeing two sides of it. So here we go. Mike Harlow. The shooting at the end immediately made me think of the shooting what happened last season, where the little boy, Sergio, was killed because Leanne was supposed to be there. She wasn't there. And then bad shit happened. And, you know, she felt very guilty about that because she had a strong connection with him. We never found out more about that. I wonder if Leanne had something to do with it, maybe accidentally. Now, before I read the rebuttal, I agree. I think it was accidentally, but I don't think she caused it. She liked that kid, and she wanted to be there for that kid. So I don't think she had him killed, but I think her lack of being there did cause him to be killed somehow. And, you know, maybe
I definitely think there's a connection between the two.
Me too. But Amia she said, which was kind of what I was just talking about, Leanne had to protect that child, but she was not there. I don't think she killed the boy. So I agree with that. I think it's because she wasn't there, Sergio died, not that she got someone killed like Isabel. But right. Still a good theory. I'm sure many other people agree with that because, you know, it's two shootings. Leanne was involved, but I'm gonna tend to agree with the rebuttal because she wasn't there. Danger happened. That's my thoughts on that one. Would you agree there?
I definitely would. Well, and it goes back to how Leanne always says, you know, as long as I'm here, nothing's going to happen to Jericho.
Right. And that could have been
she wasn't there, so something did happen to that little boy.
Could have been the same thing with Sergio. Like if she was there, everything's fine. She's not there, it's not fine. So I thought that was interesting to kick it off. But what's the first one you got?
All right. So this is a return commenter from Kizenbell. And they said, I think Leanne might have known about Jericho before he died. In season 1, the Jericho episode, Dorothy was receiving and going through resumes while Sean was filming. After Jericho died and she was going through resumes, she heard a baby cry on the baby monitor as she looked at Leanne's resume. That's when Dorothy ran upstairs, only to find that Jericho was still dead and the baby monitor was picking up a signal from someone else's baby monitor. So there's the possibility that Leanne caused his death, but Leanne also got mad at Dorothy when she found out how he died. So I don't know. There is also that mysterious third window with the green trim that appeared during that episode and in the episode called Tiger, that we still don't know what it means yet because it's only been there just those 2 times. So there are a few interesting points here. I think my favorite part of this comment is that attention to the detail where you hear the baby cry as soon as she looks at Leanne's resume, because it's little things like that that they throw into this show that just kind of guide you to where they want you to look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the same thing happened when Dorothy started lactating as soon as Jericho was crying.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of evidence that could back that up. And that was actually a rebuttal to something I said, because I said I don't think Leanne had anything to do with Jericho I's death unless they were always connected. And they could have always been connected because Dorothy was there when she was in the pageant. So she could have idolized Dorothy and made her way to find a way into that family because she sees her as a mother figure. Maybe not so much anymore. She's rebelling. I think she's actually turning evil. Right. That's one of my theories. That
that could be.
Yeah, because she's getting a little too confident with her powers, and what we just saw with Isabel, like she straight up had her killed, and there's going to be consequences to things like that. So yeah, another
that's funny. That reminds me of a comment. I don't remember which video it was from, but someone mentioned how they said they're very convinced that this has a biblical theme. Leanne is rebelling against God and finding all of these followers to join her side, and they're like, well, who does that sound like? Kind of sounds like Lucifer to me.
Yeah.
So maybe she is turning evil.
I think she is. I really do.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. No.
I think the next season she may be more dangerous than the Church of Lesser Saints. She really might be.
That's what it feels like it's leading up to, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens there. Next up, we have from Rel. That when he was talking about the look on Leanne's face after she had Isabel killed.
Yeah.
It's just terrifying image. Like she was just so happy about it. And that's another reason why I think she's turning evil. But she says the look on Leanne's face when Dorothy turned around was genuinely terrifying. Now, Vince Callow responds to this. He says it definitely was, but you can't tell me on the inside part of Dorothy was grinning too. I didn't see that. I saw Dorothy as being scared and more wary.
I think that they definitely you definitely see that externally because she's in the middle of all of this, realization, I guess, that Leanne is maybe not quite as innocent as Dorothy thought that she was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can kind of see that jealous part of Dorothy, kind of not happy that she's dead, but happy that she won't have to compete with her anymore.
Yeah, think about it. That was her biggest rival. Not only that, Isabel was planning on exposing her. So she did help in a fucked up way, but she still helped. I'm sure Dorothy wouldn't have preferred her Isabel to die, but now that she is dead, there's currently no one on the case.
Yeah, it's kind of thanks, but what the hell?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They bought her some time, at the very least. They bought her some time. But
absolutely.
like we talked about on the latest What Just Happened, it's not hard to figure out Jericho I's dead. If you want to find that out, you will find that out. So that's going to be another interesting plot point moving forward to see if there's anyone else that's going to try to expose that and make Dorothy remember. I think Dorothy's going to remember it. I think she kind of does. It's there, but she can't unlock it. So
I just can't see them ending this show without having her find out at some point.
Oh yeah. I think
it's gotta happen.
Nearly impossible. Yeah. She's going to have to. I think it could be lining up to a very tragic series finale. So at the end of next season, Could be very
Right.
tragic. You know, who's gonna go out on top? Sean, because Leanne still has an affection towards Sean. Other than that, I don't know. I think Julian's in some super trouble. I'm about to read a comment next that gives some more evidence to that, and I really think he's in some trouble. Julian, he is.
Yeah, he's not making the best decisions.
Not at all. Not at all. So what's your next one?
Okay, so this one actually goes back to what we were talking about in my last comment. This is from Hazy Pink. And they said, you said you don't know how Leanne could have known about Jericho before she came to the house, unless they were always connected. They were definitely always connected. I think Leanne has always been following Dorothy's career since Dorothy hosted the pageant when Leanne was a little girl. Even Leanne's job application seemingly came out of nowhere. Like she wasn't responding to an ad or being referred by an agency. She just knew. I think the theory of Leanne somehow causing Jericho's death is genius and absolutely could be possible, because when I saw the pageant video and the way little Leanne looked at Dorothy, I've always assumed that Leanne had been obsessed with Dorothy from then on. Like a kid would get obsessed about a pop star or a TV actor, but because Leanne is, well, Leanne, she took fandom to the next level.
Yeah, great
Could not agree more with that comment.
Great theory. And I actually think this may have been the one on my rebuttal when I was asking if they're always connected. They're similar comments, but it does make sense. You know, she was there when she was a pageant. She was looking up to her. Makes sense.
Yeah. And again, it's these little details that like I just sometimes I forget about because there's so much going on in this show. But until Hazy Pink pointed this out, I was like, that just wasn't even on my mind. But I absolutely can see how that would fit into this puzzle for sure.
Yeah, actually, I like that, and it gives another layer to Leanne's motives, because in the first couple seasons we saw her as a victim, someone that wasn't really sure of herself, and now she's growing into this badass. You know?
Yeah, it's like Dorothy's gone from being an object of her admiration to almost her competition, kind of.
Yeah.
I saw another comment that said like, it's almost as if Leanne wants to replace Dorothy in that house, in that, family construct. And I can see that. She's very protective of Sean. She's very, very protective of the baby, but she has no problem telling Dorothy where to stick it. So
yeah, that just gave me chills. Yeah, I really see her turning evil. It's the way it's tracking right now, especially with her attitude this season. Like she don't give a fuck. Ever since the Leannisters had her back, she just has a whole new sense of confidence. So great point.
Shit, I would too.
Yeah, right. You got people doing rounds for you around the neighborhood. Like you're a little protected at that point. You really are. Okay, so next one, the Funny Guys 785, and this is interesting. I'm still confused about one major plot point. How does the family know the baby died in a hot car? No one was there. By the time Julian and police came, baby was decaying in crib, and Dorothy was catatonic. Why didn't they say it was SIDS, which was mentioned when Sean tells Leanne in episode 1? There's another rebuttal to this one by Kimi Cakes. This is a great point. The Jericho episode, which I need to watch again when they show all those scenes, is told from Dorothy's POV. And I was under the impression that either one of two things happened. Sean was telling the truth, and that's what they believe to happen, or the autopsy told the story of the baby being cooked alive as a cause of death. So I guess there is still mystery surrounding that, especially with all the ambulance scenes happening lately with the EMT last week, and it was like it was horrifying. It really did a number on them. So interesting. Do we truly not know what happened to him that caused him to die? Obviously, it was negligence on Dorothy's part, but is there more to it?
Which is definitely fair. And also, What a vicious way to describe that. Baby being cooked alive.
Oh,
That
brutal,
made me a little nauseous. I'm
brutal.
not gonna lie.
I know. All right, so I have a super long one from Andy Moody. I love all the theories he puts in every week. I won't be able to read all of it. I'm going to read most of it, but we have one more for you from you, right?
Yeah, this one actually flows right in with what we were just saying. Ironically, this is also from the Funny Guys 785. So shout out, you got
Nice.
double comments this video. And they said, I think that Jericho 2 is Leanne's baby, who is also named Jericho. They said Leanne is almost an obsessed fan of Dorothy. There we go again.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to name her baby the same name as Dorothy. So every time Leanne says it's Jericho, she's sincere because his name is Jericho. I also think she's tricking everyone with the doll. Remember when the doll was switched the first time and Toby bumped into Wanda walking away from the Turners with an empty baby carrier? I think Wanda owed her a favor, so she switched the baby when no one was looking. And then he goes into talking about, how do we know that the baby was actually,
Okay.
left in the car? So
I like that theory. It differs from my current stance, which is the doll and Jericho 2 are one and the same. We've talked about that before, how they're never in the same room. You see one, you see the other one. So I'm still on that fence, but I guess it's hypothetically possible that it is Leanne's kid. And, it's tough. It's confusing because she still could have brought a different baby to life. You know what I mean? And she looks at that as Jericho. So a lot to dig in there. What do you guys think about that? Because like I said, I'm still on team the doll and Jericho 2 are one and the same, because I've had no overwhelming evidence yet to prove that wrong.
it just seems like there's too much unexplainable, there's too many unexplainable things happening right now for it to be an answer that simple. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a good theory. And honestly, how funny would that be if they throw all of this stuff in here? They're like, just kidding. Everything was totally normal the whole time.
Hey man, twists are
But
coming. Twists are coming. So, like, it's literally anything's possible. But think about it. That is one of the underlying mysteries that we have really no clue about. Like, we have theories, but they keep that mystery really tight to the chest because that's one of the main mysteries in the show. Like, what is Jericho 2? Who is he? So
yeah, I'm not confident that we'll find out until next season.
I agree. I think that'll be one of the last things we find out.
Yeah,
I do.
100%. Because that's one of the biggest things, like you said, that keep people coming back. So we have another comment that goes hand in hand with this. This is from TNLW. I've decided that Jericho 2 is a doll brought to life and not a resurrected Jericho 1. For me, one of the most important scenes is from season 1, Christening, when Aunt May says to Leanne, God had a plan for that woman, Dorothy. He wanted her to suffer, but you thought you knew better. Leanne has violated the laws of nature, and there will be a price to pay for it. Which I think is also a great perspective of this, and definitely supports your view that they have to be the same.
And there is going to be a price to pay, like whether it's Dorothy getting killed or something like the bill is due. And
listen, everything comes at a cost,
Yeah. And like I said, like I'm getting more and more nervous the more badass Leanne gets, the more she's going to be willing to do crazy shit, just like killing Isabel.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of evidence to support that could be true. So I do like that. Yeah. All right. Andy Moody has been commenting for 2 years. He writes books. We appreciate these books, man. You put a lot of thought.
We could do an entire video just on Andy's comments.
We really could. So Andy Moody, he starts up with a compliment. And by the way, guys, when you compliment us, it means the world to us. It really does. So he says, great episode, guys. I love listening to your breakdown each week. Back in the episode 2 posting, I was working a theory of what's happening in the show. I'm becoming more confident that it's going the direction I was thinking. The short version is the show is a study of DID, or dissociative identity disorder. M. Night delved into this with the movie Split. And I'm trying to figure out the logic of the events happening around the Turners. And I'm coming to the conclusion that you only have two routes. Either Leanne is a spiritual being, demon, angel, saint, and see, she could be either of those. So great point. With powers to control everyone around her, or we are watching what is happening inside the mind of a person dealing with grief and loss who has created a reality to cope with it. I'm leaning heavily towards the second option after this episode. And then he goes on to say, one last thing. When researching the movie Split, M. Night ended up researching and basing his main characters on a real person by the name of Billy Milligan, a man with DID that was also known as campus rapist back in the 70s. He was diagnosed while in custody with multiple personalities that were thought to be causing him to do the things he did. The name of the doctor first discovered the multiple personalities, Dr. Dorothy Turner in real life. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way you figured that out, Andy. There's no way.
He's
There's no way.
He's Sherlock Holmes over there, man. He really is.
I'm
yeah.
dumbfounded right now. That has to be it.
It has to be.
And like, first of all, what a ridiculously interesting concept. Now, I mean, I've heard like the story of Billy Milligan and all of that, which is, also very interesting, but I had no idea that the doctor's name is Dorothy Turner. What?
Right? Come on. That's not a mistake. That's not a mistake. I actually do have one more. So David Putzier, I don't think Julian had control of the milk. Leanne was controlling him and enjoying having control of him. Interesting how she could have taken 2 steps to her right to get where she wanted with the jug, but she walked all the way around the counter on the other side behind the back of Julian to the spot she wanted. And the cake Issei said, I could watch more of Leanne's BDSM games with Julian. So do you think she has Julian? Do you think she has Julian under a spell?
Okay, I'm actually really glad that someone commented this, because when we talked about this before, I was gonna say that it felt like there was a lot of sexual tension there, but I didn't want anyone to think I was weird for saying that. But no, I absolutely think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or he's terrified of her, because like, why would you
Probably
just spill
both.
milk? Yeah, probably both. Honestly, probably both. So 2 episodes left. We're gonna do the breakdowns for those. We're gonna do one more fan theory video, but if you guys want to hold off commenting for the final episode and give us your thoughts on season 4, we'd like to do that one for theories on season 4. And then we have the filming locations video coming up. A lot more servant content, even though it's almost over. We're going to do a couple more videos to get as many theories as possible, because this show is a whirlwind and they find a way to make it interesting every time. I love this season. Love it.
It's incredible. It's by far the best, I think, of the 3.
I think so. Yeah. And there's people saying it was a slow season. How?
And I can understand that. I can see how people can feel that it's a slow burn, but I don't know. I just feel like they pack so much information and so many little tiny details that are important into every episode that, for me, not at all.
Yeah,
Not
agreed.
At all slow burn.
Okay, so this was Fan Theories Part 2. Like I said, we have Part 3 coming out after the finale. So try to get your season 4 predictions in. And also remember to subscribe, comment, and you can win a $50 gift card to the movie theater of your choice. We're very excited. We have lots of engagement this year. It's tons of fun. Thank you guys so much for the compliments, for watching, for liking, subscribing. It's been great. So I'd like to thank you guys for that from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure Jules does as well.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Dan.
All right. We will be back Friday to break down episode 9. I'm expecting chaos because it's the second to last episode, and I can't wait. Can't wait.
So stoked.
All right. We will see you guys Friday night. Take it easy, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.